My roommate accused me of sabotaging her relationships, so I became the homewrecker she insisted I was. My roommate has blamed me for every single failed relationship since the day we moved in together. And I don't mean the normal, maybe don't walk around in a towel when my boyfriend's here complaints. I mean, if a guy didn't text her back after a date, it was because I had bad energy in the apartment. Ghosted after the first hookup, I must have given him a look when he arrived. Dumped via text after 2 weeks, I wore that outfit on purpose to steal his attention. So by the time we hit junior year, she'd perfected the art of making every single romantic failure in her life somehow trace back to me. Her sorority sisters ate it up since we'd been randomly paired freshman year, and she'd been collecting evidence ever since. When she got stood up by her Tinder date at that expensive steakhouse downtown, she spent 2 hours getting ready with my help. Yet when the guy never showed, she filed a formal complaint with student housing claiming I'd psychologically sabotaged her by complimenting her dress sarcastically and demanded I pay for her wasted Uber rides. The truth? Dude had been catfishing with decade-old photos. I tried being supportive and set her up with my chemistry study partner sophomore year, but after their coffee date when he wasn't feeling a connection, she posted on every group chat that I'd trafficked her to the ugliest guy on campus and started a rumor I was getting kickbacks from desperate men. He was literally pre-med with a 4.0 GPA and modeling for the university calendar. By junior year, her boyfriend dumped her the day after my birthday party, and she filed a Title IX complaint claiming I'd sexually harassed him by existing in my own birthday dress, then demanded the university provide her free therapy for the trauma of living with a predator. Her ex actually dumped her because she'd installed tracking apps on his phone and showed up at his grandmother's funeral uninvited to catch him cheating with his cousins. Her mom started texting me at 3 a.m. with voice messages sobbing about how I was destroying her baby's chances at love and threatened to sue me for emotional damages while simultaneously offering to pay me $5,000 to move out immediately. Meanwhile, I'm spending every weekend on FaceTime with my boyfriend 3 states away, but somehow I'm the one stealing all her men. That's when she crossed the line. She'd been dating Marcus for 3 months, and I bent over backwards to give him space by practically living at the library and sleeping at friends' places when he stayed over. But I came home early from class with food poisoning one Tuesday, ran to the bathroom, then stumbled to my room and found Marcus in my bed with some guy from his team. They panicked and begged me not to tell, but I said nothing and just left. 2 days later, Marcus dumped her claiming he'd caught feelings for me, and I realized he was using my reputation as the perfect cover story since everyone already believed I was a homewrecker. He milked it completely, telling anyone who'd listen that I'd seduced him with my feminine wiles, and he couldn't resist my charms, knowing she'd eat it up and he'd look like the victim instead of admitting the truth. She announced to her entire chapter meeting that I'd done it again, and by dinner the entire Greek row was convinced I'd stolen another one. I hadn't heard from her for 2 whole days when I saw her Instagram post, "When you realize your best friend has been trying to steal every man you've ever loved," with me tagged. Something in me just snapped as I stared at that post. If she wants to be a victim her whole life, I'll give her exactly what she wants. The roommate who admitted to being a homewrecker. I thought about the consequences, but sitting there looking at 3 years of bent over backwards friendship, I realized even being the campus homewrecker would be better than another day of this insanity. So I commented, "You're right, I can't help myself around taken men. I'm moving out immediately." Word spread across campus within hours, and I announced at the next chapter meeting I was seeking help for my problem and moving out for everyone's safety. The housing office fast-tracked me to a single dorm, and suddenly I had my own peaceful space with no daily accusations. When her mom called, I braced for screaming, but instead heard her sigh. I should have known she hasn't changed since her high school days when she accused her best friend of stealing her prom date who turned out to be gay. She confessed she knew exactly how her daughter was and apologized profusely. I felt zero remorse and immediately screenshot the entire conversation, sending it straight to my former roommate with the caption, "Your mom and I finally agree on something," then blocked her number and watched the fireworks explode across social media as she melted down about her own mother's betrayal. 6 months later, life's never been better without walking on eggshells or being blamed for her failures. She's been through 4 more relationships that all ended the same way, but now people are starting to notice the pattern since I'm not around to blame. Her sorority sisters whisper about how maybe it's not always the other person's fault when every single guy ghosts her, and her latest boyfriend publicly called her out for going through his phone before dumping her. She still tells her story at parties about surviving a toxic roommate and runs her campus support group, but attendance has dwindled as people realize she's still getting dumped just as often without me in the picture. She spent 3 years making me the villain of her story, so I gave her the ending she'd already written.